Well, good afternoon to our listening audience. My name is George Smith, and I have the pleasure of serving as the director of Michigan State University AgBioResearch. And we're going to have a really interesting conversation today about a topic that's really critical to the food and agriculture economy in the state of Michigan, but that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about yet in our podcasts, and that's the food processing sector. I'm very pleased to have Matt Vanek here with me today. Matt is the site director of MWC in St. John's, Michigan. So, Matt, welcome.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so as we kind of kick off the conversation, can you give us a little bit of background information about MWC, the scale it operates at, and the role it really plays in support of Michigan's dairy and food industries?
Yeah, not a problem. So we're a cheese and whey manufacturing facility here up in St. John's. So we bring in about 8 million pounds of milk and process it every single day. So 24/7, 365 cows, they sleep, but they always produce milk. So every single day of the year. So we always keep running as well. Um, So yeah, we take that 8 million pounds of milk in every day, turn that into about 900,000 pounds of cheese every day, and then about 450,000 pounds of whey protein powder every week. So overall, that 8 million pounds is actually about 25% of all the milk produced in Michigan comes to the site every day. So kind of a cool thing. See that we've got a big impact on the whole dairy industry here in Michigan. Kind of been told, the dairy industry and kind of some of the ancillary supports about 90,000 different jobs here in Michigan. So definitely a cool thing. Definitely an honor to be able to uh, be a big part of that, be able to support all those different people, their families, things like that, and be able to produce good quality, safe food as well for people around the nation.
Yeah, Matt, I remember when talk of the new dairy processing plant in St. John's was going on and the excitement within the industry when the go button was hit and construction started is just really a huge boon for the dairy industry in Michigan, which is the number one contributors to the state's agricultural economy. Food and agriculture contributes over $125 billion a year, and having additional processing capacity to the state is so important for our producers because you're adding value to the process products by making them locally versus having to truck Michigan milk out of state to Indiana, Ohio, or even further to be processed. So it's helping the ag economy. It created new jobs in mid-Michigan and helped the mid-Michigan economy and the economy in St. John's grow even further. So one of the most exciting things to happen for the dairy industry in the greater Lansing area and the whole state in quite some time. So a lot of
Yeah, it's been
enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's been great. The community here and everything's been really good. Had some very, very talented people able to bring on board and everything. So, yeah, overall, we're very happy to be here and really appreciative to the community in mid-Michigan as well.
Yeah. Another great example of what we talk about regularly, strong partnerships. Partnerships
Absolutely.
between the dairy industry, the companies that are part of the alliance or that form the cheese plant that contribute to that, and partnerships with the local communities in the mid-Michigan area. So we'd love to see more of that in the future, and I think there's great potential. So, getting more to the heart of our story and what we wanted to talk about today, shortly after the plan opened in 2020, my understanding is MWC had some issues with its wastewater treatment plant and stability. What was at stake operationally when that problem first started, and how urgent did the challenge feel for leaders of the operation like yourself and others?
Yeah, I think I was in a little bit different role at that point. But I think one of the things that I've always learned most during my career is really just having a big learning curve. So kind of a new part of processing. for the plants here, being able to do an end-to-end wastewater. So it was really just a big learning curve. And I think that's kind of where you have the biggest opportunities to, learn quickly, ask some good questions, reach out to some very talented people, kind of get some of those answers. So, as we know quite a bit about dairy manufacturing, wastewater systems have some experience, but not a huge amount. So I think it was just one of those kind of learning curves, that those big opportunities of, all right, hey, how do you learn and get better? How do you work through people that have some awesome expertise as
Mhm.
well? So I think it was just one of those of knew that that was kind of a newer system to us from a company standpoint. And then it was just kind of trying to see, all right, hey, where else can we kind of partner and get some of that extra learning rather than having to do and learn all that yourself. So,
Sure. And, as someone that doesn't know a lot about food processing or dairy processing, thinking about your comments, the volume of milk that you process on a daily basis and the amount of cheese that's generated. And so the liters and liters and liters and liters of milk, which are fluid volume, and all the water associated with that, that can be, a pretty big challenge. I have a hard time even wrapping my arms around the kind of the volumes and what you have to deal with. So, and what we really want to about today is the work that Michigan State University, Dr. Wei Lau, and his team at the Anaerobic Digestion Research and Extension Center did to help you with your wastewater treatment plant. Dr. Liao is one of the world's leading authorities on anaerobic digestion. He leads our program at MSU. MSU was the first university to install an anaerobic digester, and he's really, really committed to the industry and making sure his work makes a difference. So, why was Dr. Lau and his team the right collaborators to help you think more systemically about the problem?
yeah, so I think that kind of goes along with that learning curve. As I've gone through my career, when you when you don't have the answer or you need to learn something, I was trying to find not just someone that can give you an answer, but the best person to be give you an answer. So I think that was one of the things that Dr. Liao, just kind of the expertise there that he was able to give us, was really one of those first things of definitely has a huge amount of experience
Mhm.
in types of digesters that we're using. And then also just kind of the facilities there at MSU, whether it's from some of the actual testing into the laboratory side of it. And then also, just being, I'd say, down the
Mhm.
road, which is a great thing. So I think maybe 25 minutes from campus there. So really that location side of it as well. They've got some great facilities down there that we could really do almost real time data, that we could pull a sample, be down there in 25 minutes, be running a test, and then that gives us really quick feedback versus before we might have been sending off samples to a lab. Might take a couple days to get information back, and being able to have that real time um, really, really helped from that standpoint. And then I think also, when you're out in industry, you've got so many people working for you, so many resources, and sometimes, you need some help or you need some other resources. So I think that was a great kind of partnership, being able to talk with Dr. Liao there, and then actually being able to bring some students out on site,
Mhm.
be able to run some projects there as well. And, when we're running 24/7, 365, everything's on a deadline. But when you can have a
Mhm.
student come in, be able to, all right, hey, let me take a step back, let me go through all these different testing, let me do some of this collaboration,
Mhm.
talking through it. All right, so rather than getting an answer, they can really get some
Mhm.
more time and thought into it and come up with the best answer there as well. So I think definitely kind of all those different things really factored into it. So kind of the experience, the facilities there,
Mhm.
being able to get data quickly, data that we're very comfortable in, the location of being so close, and then really a lot of the collaboration back and forth. That's all right. Hey, having someone rather than getting on the phone that you could actually just kind of look in the eye and say, all right, hey, what about this crazy idea? All right, what about this
Mhm.
one? And really just being able to kind of talk through that and be able to learn a lot ourselves and really having that collaboration was an awesome thing. So it's been really great. And yeah, being able to be so close and being able to have that really good collaboration has been made a big difference.
Yeah, Matt, I really appreciate your comments. It's a great testament to the role of Michigan's University, the land grant university, in solving problems that have a direct impact on industries, households, communities, etc., and being that unbiased source of information. That's what we've done for 100 years, and that's what we'll continue to do in the future. And I want to delve in more to the student aspect of this support that Dr. Lau's program had. But before I do that, I want to ask you, a question, and it's kind of operationally oriented related to your plant. We talked about the tremendous volume of milk that you process, and you're open 24/7, 365 days a year. What's at stake if something really goes awry, like your wastewater problem couldn't be solved? We can't tell the cows to go on break and stop making milk for 2 days or a week. So there's really a lot at stake here in troubleshooting issues. Expand upon that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's definitely there's always that thought in the back of the mind. So yeah, when you're bringing in kind of 25% of all the milk produced every single day here,
Uh,
um, if you've got an issue, whether it's wastewater or in the plants, the cheese plant there, there's always a lot of pressure,
uh,
sometimes quite literally. But yeah, there's nowhere else really within the state to kind of soak
right,
up that volume of milk.
right.
So all of a sudden, having to send that out to a lot of different plants here,
Mhm.
like you kind of alluded to there earlier, a lot of that was going out of states previously as well. So unfortunately, yeah, some of that milk then would have to go and get disposed at a lesser price. So then,
Mhm.
unfortunately, you don't have that return to the farmers, which is really one of the big things that want to make sure. The farmers, we're only here because of the farmers, so want to
Exactly.
make sure that we support them and be able to make sure that they can make a good living for themselves as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, that's one that yeah, it's definitely one that weighs on you kind of every day from that standpoint. So it's yeah, it can cause some pretty significant issues. Thankfully, we've got some phenomenal partners here with
Uh-huh.
Dairy Farmers of America and Select Milk. Um, very very good cooperatives, run really really well from their standpoint. So they're able to work with us, and then there's times where maybe we have some more capacity as well, and we're able to bring in some
Mhm.
extra milk and things like that. So it's always, yeah, kind of going back to that collaboration word you used
Mhm.
there before. That's kind of one of the cool things here with MWC being uh, a joint venture between Glanbia,
Mhm.
DFA, and Select. That's really this whole partnership here is all about collaboration, and then collaboration there with MSU as well. So yeah, it's definitely a cool thing, and I think that kind of only makes us stronger.
Yeah, I really appreciate your comments, Matt, and I think it illustrates very well the importance of the investment the state of Michigan makes in Michigan State University AgBioResearch and the talent and expertise that's available right here to support the dairy industry and dairy processing to be able to work with you and work with our partners in the industry to make technological advancements, help the industry grow, be more profitable, et cetera, et cetera. And on your side, having people to really help solve those real life problems, because otherwise there's a lot at stake. And your comments really reflect what's at stake, and it helps make the point of the value of these investments. So let's go back to the student side of the assistance that Dr. Lau's program had. That's really an interesting part of the story as well, and And it's one that I think in our podcasts that we do not just for the agricultural community, but for any Michiganders that are interested in where their food comes from and the issues. We often take for granted the role that students play in all this. And in this case, it's a really interesting story. So tell us how Dr. Liao incorporated students and the role students played in working with you and your staff to troubleshoot and solve the problems you were having with your wastewater treatment facility.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think kind of the spawn of the partnership there was just kind of working with Dr. Liao and, asking different questions of, all right, hey, directionally, where would we go on this whole process? But once we kind of started to get better understanding of that, it was all right, hey, we've got a specific concern about this part of the digestion or this in feeds, how that interacts with the digesters and things like that. So where we started to come and see, specific concerns or items that we could work on, that's when kind of trying to partner with them on doing some kind of senior capstone projects, being able to bring in some of the students and say, all right, hey, we've got this specific, issue. Uh, can you go through? We'll kind of let you come on site, open up all the data, things like that. Can you come up with some solutions or some changes that we can do? And it was definitely really cool just to be able to have that and be able to have someone come on site, and then just having that extra resource. We only ever have so many resources as we do, and being able to have that new resource and let them kind of go and bird dog this for us was really a cool thing. And I think that's another great part of that collaboration of, how do you also then marry some of that theory and practice through college and things like that. All right, hey, how do you give people that real world experience that you can test all those different theories, and then kind of hone some new ones as well. So it definitely was a cool thing. And we got some really, really powerful results out of it that, all right, hey, we got to a steady state, but hey, there's a better state. There's a way where we can, optimize our biogas, that we can have that biology working even better. And then even just some new ways to try to run the processing facility as well, to make sure that we're continuing to optimize. So it's definitely been a really good thing from that standpoint that, as we've got different ideas out there, all right, hey, how do we get someone to come and actually put the theory and the practice together, and see if they do match up. So it's definitely been a great thing, and I think the students definitely appreciate it as well, being able to go and get to see some of the real life on a large scale plants there as well.
Yeah, well put, Matt. We really appreciate MWC's openness to involving students in working together with you all to try and address the problems you were facing. It adds so much value to the educational experience, and we hear more and more from employers about how important those opportunities are, what you might learn in a textbook, what you might do in a laboratory class at the university, which provides a solid background, is not the same as being boots on the ground, helping to solve a real world problem. And all of us are really dependent and concerned about what that workforce of the future is going to look like in agriculture and food processing, et cetera. So this type of experience can be, really foundational for future careers of students and opening their doors to new opportunities. And I believe, if I remember correctly, one of the students involved in this project is actually now working on a graduate degree with Dr. Liao.
Yep.
So tremendous experience, so important for the future, and so much value beyond the critical information that our students receive in the classroom. So really great experience again. Thank you to you and your company for being open to this.
Not a problem.
So the work that was done at the wastewater treatment plant, thinking in the long term, how does it advance long-term resilience of the facility.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely very significant. So through any kind of manufacturing, you know, there's always something that's going to go wrong. So there's all kinds of different processes, equipment, any of that throughout the whole system. And when you can start feeling comfortable about one side of it, then it's just all right. Hey, I don't have to spend as much time, effort, resource. All right, hey, I can go on to the next thing. And once you get through those, then you can start working on some of that kind of continuous
Mhm.
improvement side of it. So definitely made a huge impact overall on the site. Just being able to get to the point of all right, hey, feel very comfortable with where we're at, have an understanding of what levers you need to pull as things inevitably change and things like that. And just having that comfort level and then just having that understanding, experience, and everything, just how open Dr. Liao and the
Mhm.
team there has been, just being able to have that knowledge transfer has been huge as well. So it's been cool from my standpoint. I picked up a little bit of it, but there's some very talented
Mhm.
people at the site here that picked up
Mhm.
quite a bit. So yeah, it's been a huge effort, a huge success, I think, as well. And then it's just kind of on to all right, hey, what's the next thing there as well? So
Yeah, that's awesome, Matt. And so, kind of thinking about the next chapter and what the future holds. When I talk about agriculture in Michigan and our industry leaders talk about the same thing, one of the advantages we have, and the same would hold true on the processing side, is we have access to a reliable source of water. In fact, we're the most diverse agricultural state in the country with a reliable source of water relative to the challenges, Western states, California, Washington, Arizona, et cetera, are experiencing. But that's not something we take for granted. And looking to the future, water recovery, reclamation, and or creating a more fully circular water system within farms, within processing facilities is going to be more and more important. So why does that mean? What does that mean from your perspective? Why is water reuse such an important topic, and how might MSU be able to assist you with this goal and other objectives moving forward?
yeah, so I think that's water is a big thing for Glanbia overall. So I know actually by the end of 2025 there, they had a goal of decreasing kind of city water usage across all the plants by about 10%. And thankfully we're able to hit that. So it's been a big thing just from a sustainability standpoint, being a good steward uh, towards the environment and everything. So actually the plant as it was built here, um, about 2/3 of all the water that we use is actually water that we've taken from the milk, cleaned up, and are able to reuse. So we're already at kind of that 2/3 side of it, but there's that remaining third, and that kind of goes to that continuous improvement of all right, hey, you still have a third of it out there, about 600,000 gallons altogether every day, which is still a very big, sizable chunk. And then, hey, how do you be able to use that? So that's kind of where using the wastewater plants here, that once we've got a good understanding now on it, really good filtration on the backside. What are some of the opportunities as we're doing a clear water discharge? What are the opportunities there to be able to utilize some of that water as well? So I know Dr. Liao has already had one of his students out with a reverse osmosis membrane, being able to start doing some data on, all right, hey, if you took that water and were able to clean it up yet again, is there some ability to reuse that in the plant? So that's kind of a really exciting one. That hey, if we could get to a water neutral or
Mhm.
something like that, or a water generator, even definitely a cool thing. And like you said, here in Michigan, there's a lot of water, but there's a lot of being able to use that same technology kind of across the board. So Glanbia's got a lot of plants out west there as well. So, all right, hey, if we can prove out that technology with the help of MSU, I think that's a really cool win really across the board, and then you're able to be able to use that similar thing, and kind of just in general from that sustainability and the whole industry.
Mhm.
As you're able to prove out some of those new technologies, you can really do some powerful things, kind of like the whole whey protein side. None of that used to all just be a byproduct, and then as
Mhm.
the dairy industry has progressed and gotten better, now we can't get enough of the whey
Mhm.
protein powder. So it's kind of it's just another one of those cool evolutions that you see a huge amount of technological process throughout the industry. And I think Dr. Liao and his team and MSU definitely have the expertise, the connections, things like that to be able to help us and support us to hopefully get to that point here as well. So definitely some cool parts there. And one other one just on some of the biogas actually coming off the digester. So that was another really nice partnership. Is MSU was able to go and actually do some of the testing on that biogas on purity and things like that. And we actually have a project now doing actually some pre-engineering to be able to use that biogas into our boilers and then be able to decrease our greenhouse emissions from that standpoint as well. So it's kind of cool. It definitely gets you excited on all the different possibilities that, a lot of people, all right, hey, that's just the wastewater plant, but there's so many cool things that you can actually get out of it. And it's just amazing the optimization and everything as well within it. So yeah, lots of cool different projects still kind of out on the horizon as well. And it's been awesome to partner with the team there at MSU and just the expertise and all the different learnings that we're able to
Well,
do.
Matt, you got me excited kind of talking about those applications, which really are key to the future and building resilience in our agriculture and food systems. Even though we have, access to water in Michigan, it's not something to take for granted. And the more we can do to reutilize the water we have, that's going to provide additional opportunities for revenue. It's going to build resilience into systems when times come when water scarcity takes place, which, Michigan isn't immune from droughts or other challenges as well. We're just not hammered as frequently as people out west. And then talking about the biogas and the other sources of revenue, creating this circularity within the agriculture and food processing industries to generate more value from the products that are involved or what some might be considered byproducts is really key to the future. And we're very, very fortunate to have Dr. Liao as part of our MSU team. I know he's great, doing great work on these topics. Those topics are fundamental. We're fundamental to the $30 million investment in the state in our new dairy facility and the planned expansion of our anaerobic digester facility and adding the capacity to produce renewable natural gas, the capacity to recover nutrients from the what comes out of the anaerobic digester. Again, it's about creating value, it's creating revenue for producers or for processors from things that would otherwise be considered a byproduct. That's the key to the future. And I think we are really positioned to lead through the efforts of Dr. Liao and others. And we really appreciate the partnership with MWC, your willingness to allow Wei and his team to come on site and help you troubleshoot through some challenges, some acute challenges, then also talk about some long-term strategies to address the issues you just described that are mutually benefit, the issues that are of mutual benefit. So Matt, we're kind of reaching the end of our time. Any other words of wisdom you'd like to share before we wrap things
I'm
up?
usually pretty short on those, but
Uh,
no, definitely just appreciate MSU and Dr. Liao's team down there. Really great to be able to have such a resource. Very fortunate to have one so close, so open, so willing to collaborate on it. So definitely really appreciate it. Appreciate you and Jack as well, just for the candidness and being able to be on a format like this. So appreciate the whole MSU
Well,
team there.
thanks, Matt. And you did share a lot of wisdom in the context of the podcast, and it really was an important story to tell about how we make an impact at a whole nother level within the food and agriculture economy in Michigan. So we really appreciate your time. We appreciate your insight. We appreciate you being with us today and look forward to talking with you again.
Not a problem. Not a problem.